Hello everybody, I'm Colin Eichinger, and today I'm going to show you a video tutorial on how to use Doctopus and Goobric in the Google Drive. So what you're going to want to do is go to drive.google.com to access your Google Drive and then sign in with your credentials. Once you get to your Google Drive, you can go ahead and hit New and Google Sheets. I'm going to go ahead and name this sheet. What we're going to name it is whatever your assignment is going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and name it Sentence Practice. And there we go. I named it. And now what you're going to want to do is you're going to go ahead and you want to get Doctopus. So what you're going to do is go to Add-ons, Get Add-ons, type in Doctopus, Doctopus, hit enter, and then it's going to be the first one, and it's going to say plus free if you haven't already gotten it. I've gotten it, so it's going to say manage, and if you click manage, that's so you can delete the Doctopus from your Google Drive. Since I've already gotten it, you're going to go to Add-ons, Doctopus, and hit launch. Then it's going to launch on the side. And it's going to say select a roster for step 1. So you're going to go ahead and click the drop down menu and choose your roster. I've created these two rosters just for the sake of this video. And what I'm going to click is, or what you're going to click is, if this is your first time using Doctopus, is build a new roster. Then you're going to select a method. And it's going to be on this sheet. And then click create roster. And as you can see, it has created the first name, last name, and email. And so if you have a lot of students in your class, you're not going to want to have to type in everybody's first name, everybody's last name, and everybody's email address. So what we're going to go ahead and do is go back to your drive, click New, and click More, and Google Forms. The reason we're doing this is so we can have our students fill out the form with their first name, last name, email address. That way we don't have to do anything. So what we're going to name is Doctopus Information. Then click off to the side. At the top, this Prairie Hill CUSD number 133 login and automatically collect Prairie Hill respondents CUSD 133 username. These are only going to appear if you're logged in with your credentials, last name, first initial at prairiehill.org. So what this is it's going to only allow people with the Prairie Hill domain to log in to fill out this form, and we want that. And then we're also going to hit automatically collect respondents Prairie Hill CUSD number 133 username. What this is going to do is when they log in with their credentials, their email address, it's automatically going to collect the username and put it into the spreadsheet. And then we're going to make it so only allow one response per person. That way nobody can fill it out again. And the first question, since we already have the username in here, we don't have to do the email address. So what we're going to do is we're going to name this first name, make it a text one, and make it required. Then what we're going to do is hit add another item and click text. And we're going to name this last name, required question, and then click done. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to click view responses. And then I'm going to choose where I want these responses to go. So I'm going to create a new spreadsheet and make sure all my responses go into the spreadsheet. And then I'm going to hit create. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to sentence practice and make sure I have first name, last name, email address. Make sure I have all that stuff in here, which I do. So now I'm going to hit view live form. Going to copy the link. I'm going to go to my other Chrome window, which is a guest, and I'm going to paste the link. And now it says you can only enter your full email address, example, at prairiehill.org. So I have an email address. It is my cousin's, so it's edwardl@prairiehill.org. then his lunch code twice. Then I'm not going to want him to stay signed in because it's a guest window. And I'm going to click sign in. And it's going to redirect me to the form. So, since I already have the email address signed in right there, I don't have to fill that out in the form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do first name, so Logan, Edward. And I'm not going to make it send a copy because he doesn't need the response because all it is the first and last name. But since he has the username, it's automatically going to have that at the bottom so it can send him the responses. And now I'm going to hit submit. And as you can see, I submitted the form, so I'm going to go back to my Google Chrome window. I'm going to go to my Doctopus information, and I'm going to click View Responses. And here, the username, the first name, and the last name, as well as the timestamp. This can be very helpful if you're doing this for a homework assignment and you want your students to fill it out on the Google form and you know exactly when they fill it out. That way, they're not filling it out before the second bell rings in your class. So now, I'm going to go back to sentence practice, and first name, so I'm going to go to the information, the responses. I'm going to go ahead and close the live form. I'm going to copy his first name with Control-C, or if you're on a Mac, Command-C. Sentence practice. Paste the first name. Control-C or Command-C, last name. Control-V or Command-V for last name. Then for the email address, it's going to be username. And the reason we want the username on the form is because if you have your students just fill out the email address themselves, it's going to make it so if they make a typo, you're not going to know. But if they log in, it's going to say to them, you have spelt it wrong. So now I'm going to go ahead and paste it in. I'm also going to add another student, and it's going to be myself. And I'm going to use my personal email address. Now if I hit refresh, it's going to make sure everything is correct, and then it's going to refresh the Doctopus, and now this is in my roster. So now what I'm going to name this is, I'll name it ELA period 1, because this is a language arts thing, it's for sentence practice. And then if I hit create class folders, this is so it can create the folders for your students to put documents in to share it with you and everybody else in your class. I can hit create and share folders. Let me just click off that. It's saying this is an invalid email address because this is my personal one, so I'm not going to use this. I'll actually do no. And then I'm gonna do I'm going to make myself a student as well. I have to wait for this to create it, and then I'm gonna have to refresh it again. It does take a little while to load because it has to create all the folders and then share all of them. So if you have a lot of students in your class, this could take some time. As you can see, it has shared it with multiple people, and these have only been shared with one person. If you scroll down, there's also some little tips down here. I'm going to go ahead and pause it and come back to you when it's done loading. Okay, so it has now been updated, and now I'm going to go ahead and click Next. And now down here, it's the sharing arrangement. So these are all the different sharing arrangements. I'm not going to go over them, but You can go over them when you use Doctopus yourself. It can be individual and all of the same documents, individual, but every student has a different document. You can do group projects, or the whole class has a single document. I'm going to do individual, all the same. I don't want the class to access this document because I don't want them to see what the other student is doing. You can also add co-teachers. So if it was like the gym teachers using the, for example, it would be Mr. Bonnie and Mrs. Ball. So if I hit save and continue, and now what I have to do is I have to go back to my Google Drive. And as you can see, my new folder for the ELA period 1 has been created. Double click on it. Now I have to go to ELA period 1 teacher. And there's sentence practice. I have to create a new Google Doc for this because it's going to take this one document and share it with everybody. So now I'm just going to name this sentence practice. And then hit OK. Now I'm just going to do name our write a simple sentence below. And there we go. So now back at my Google Drive, I created the new Google Doc, and I like everything to be organized, so I'm going to go ahead and click new folder. I'm going to name this sentence practice as well. I'm going to drag my files into this, and then back at my sentence practice Google Sheet, I'm going to choose a different folder, because you have to choose the folder that the file is in. And it's in the sentence practice folder. So now it's loading to find all the files in this folder. And then it's the document sentence practice. I'm going to hit save and continue. And this is what the assignment folder is going to be named. So what this is going to be, you can choose a folder that you already have, but I'm just going to leave it like this. It's going to be ELA period 1, and then the name of the document, which is sentence practice, and then the date the document is assigned. So I'm just going to leave it like that. If you already have folders assigned, like if it's like sentence practice student files, then you can go ahead and choose that. And then what the student files are going to be called. By default, it's last name, and then comma, first name, and then the name of the document, so sentence practice. And I'm going to go ahead and leave it like that. So, up here again, I forgot to mention this, you have to create the new folder. And then after doing so, it'll allow you to hit save and continue. Close that. And I'm going to hit save and continue. And as you can see, it's creating all these tabs for all the documents. And then once you hit run, copy, and share, it's going to create the documents and share them with your students. And then in the spreadsheet, the links will pop up, the last edits, and then the grade, the written feedback, everything will pop up. And so now, if I go ahead and click this so I can select all, and then if you double tap, it allows you to see everything that is in the columns of the spreadsheet. And see there were no edits by the student. And now if I go ahead and hit manage and access this assignment, this is where we can attach the Goobric. The students for the prairiehill.org domain do not allow attachments for Google Chrome to be installed. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, go to my personal Google account, and install Goobric. Okay, I'm back. I had to create a new document, and I just put in a random name. So now, back at the end, there's up here it says attach Goobric. So go ahead and click on that. And then this window is going to pop up. I already have it, the extension, but what we're going to want to do is you're going to have to install it. And now I have to create a new rubric. So, select a spreadsheet from your drive or create a new one. So I'm going to go to my drive. I'm going to just hit New, Google Sheets. And then what you're going to have to do is you're just going to name it. So I'm just going to name it Sentence Practice Rubric. And hit OK. And then you're going to have to leave this A1 blank. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go across and I'm going to say 1 or 2. So over here it's going to be punctuation. I think I spelled that wrong. Actually, I didn't. Okay, punctuation and capital letters, and then just gonna say noun. So now if I go back over to here and I hit click to select a spreadsheet, I can click Sentence Practice Rubric, select, attach rubric. Now it's checking to make sure my rubric is okay for the Goobric attachment. Which it is. And there we go. It's there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and log in as the student and access the file. So, okay. So now I've logged in as the student and I'm going to go ahead and fill it out. So name, Logan, our first, write a simple sentence below. The dog ran, period. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over to my Rubric Google Drive, and it still says there's no edits by the student. It might still say that for a while. If I refresh it, it still says it, but that's fine. What I'm going to do is, now if I go into my drive, and I go to ELA period 1, teacher, then the sentence practice, and there's this one. And I can check to make sure he filled it out correctly, which he did. So now what I'm going to do is for Goobric to work, I forgot to mention this. For Goobric to work, you have to have Google Chrome. You cannot use Goobric with Firefox, Internet Explorer, Safari, anything else that you use. It has to be with Google Chrome. So now up on your search bar at the end, there's going to be this little eyeball. And that's Rubric Web App Launcher. If I click it, it's going to open a new tab, and it's going to be script.google.com. And it opens up the new tab, and this is where I can look at everything to make sure it's okay. So, does he have punctuation? Yes, so I'll give him a 2. Then I can just push tab to go over. Does he have capital letters? Yes, so I'll give him a 2. Push tab to go over. Does he have a noun? Yes, so I'll give him a 2. Then you can give comments. Amazing job on your sentence. And up here you can do voice. So this is just a recording, so it'll attach it as a file to the bottom with a link. And if you scroll down, you can email scores. I'm not going to. And then auto advance on submit. That's fine. And if I hit submit, at the bottom of the file, there's going to be the Goobric, the rubric, and then comments, amazing job on your sentence. And so this is about it for how to use Doctopus and Goobric. Thank you for watching my first video for my school YouTube channel to teach teachers how to use their technology. If you have any questions, please go to the description. In the description, there's going to be a link to fill out a form. When you fill out the form, you're going to get a confirmation email. So make sure you type in your email correct, and then you will get the confirmation email just to confirm that you've filled out the form, and then I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. So Thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you along the way.